Hello, Eurovision friends. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, Eurovision Histories. Great times to be Eurovision fans because after the second semi-final last night, which I will analyze later today, we also got a grand final running order, which I want to over-analyze to perfection in this video, as I'm known to do. So what we're going to do is look at each of the countries, where they are in the running order, who was helped by the running order, who is hurt by the running order. But before doing that, I wanted to look at a few things that we should have in mind. First of all, this year again, the voting, as far as I know, opens before the first song is performed. So the running order might not be as important anymore as it was in other years, because the voting will be open from the first song. Then later is usually better in the running order. Statistically, more of the winners have come from the second half, and also more of the songs that do well in general in Eurovision. And there are several reasons for this. One of them is recency bias, which means if you have heard a song 10 minutes ago, you might remember it more, you might think it's better than a song that you heard an hour and a half ago. And you might say in the semifinals, some songs from the first running order spots qualified, and Cyprus and Croatia both didn't make it in semi one, who were last in the running order. But in a final of 26 songs, I think the running order is a bit more important than in a semifinal of 15 songs. So this recency bias might play into things a bit more. Then we also have ratings data from some countries that show the change in viewership over a period of time during the final. And you just see that during the first half an hour, a lot of people aren't watching yet and are tuning in later on, especially in Southern Europe, where it's usual to have TV programs and primetime programming on a bit later. So that might be a factor. So if you're first, second, third, fourth, people might not have seen your song, and then they're obviously not going to vote for your song. Then it's also important what is around you. So if you're a ballad surrounded by very high energy and up-tempo songs, that will help you to stand out. But if you're a ballad surrounded by other ballads that are also better vocally or when it comes to the staging, that will hurt you. So we'll think about that as well. Then also similar songs. Are there similar songs to you in the same final? Is there a female-led French ballad in the same final? Don't know why I came up with that example. But the demographic that loves French ballads by a woman, maybe sung by a woman, might have to choose between the two of you and not go all in for you. So that can be a factor. And then this is more of a joke, but don't be second, because no country obviously in almost 70 years of Eurovision has won from the second spot in the running order, even when Eurovision only had 16 participating countries. Now, this is especially important for the televote, the recency bias, for example. The juries are supposed to not be influenced by that, but they're still human beings, so I think sometimes they are still influenced by it. And I also wanted to look at where recent winners came from, where they performed. So Duncan Lawrence performed in 12th position, Måneskin 24th, Ukraine 12th, Loreen managed to win from 9th in the running order, and Nemo from 21st. So you see, there is a bit of diversity. You don't have to lose all hope if your favorite song is in the first running order spots. It can all happen. But in general, you don't see any 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. And that might be an indication that these spots are not all that favorable. So having all of that in mind, let's look at the running order in 2025. And before starting, the countries drew either first half, second half, or producer's choice. Most countries drew producer's choice. And if you draw that, you can be put anywhere in the running order by the producers. If you draw first half, you have to be in the first half. And if you draw second, you have to be in the second half. That is important for some of them. If you're screaming foul, they don't want this to win. Sometimes it was the draw that they simply drew first half and they had to put them there. Okay, running order. We start with Norway, which I think is a great start to the show. The producers also want to create a great television show that keeps viewers interested. They don't want them to switch the channel, which we would never do, obviously, but some casual viewers might switch to something else that's on that night. And so having a good, dynamic between the songs is very important, and having Norway open makes a lot of sense because it is a Eurovision-y song. It's kind of what people expect. It is a standard pop song, so not too many people will be taken aback by this and change the channel because they don't like it. So I think Norway opening makes a lot of sense. Then we have Luxembourg. A bit weird. The first three are all quite up-tempo, quite energetic as well, but very different songs also. The producers also look at the visual identity of the staging. The sound is different. I mean, there are always things that are different between the songs and that are similar between the songs. The first three I thought were very up-tempo, so maybe I would have put a ballad in second position and then, but there is probably a reason. They also have to think about the props, obviously. Which country has a huge prop that needs more time, and you can't put many countries that have huge props after each other. Okay, so Norway, Luxembourg, Estonia, a great start, I think, to the final anyway, especially for casual viewers. They will like this. They will enjoy Estonia. Estonia drew producer's choice, so they could have put them anywhere, and they put them in third position. So you probably know what the EBU thinks about this entry. Maybe Tommy Cash said a few too many critical things. I don't know. That's just a guess. I don't think that's necessarily true. And then after these three very high energy songs, we have the ballad from Israel. So you might say, oh, they put them very early on again. This was producer's choice again. So yes, they are very early on again, but they still got a huge televote last time, I think from fifth position. So it can still happen. And I think the lead-in is actually pretty good for a ballad with these three up-tempo songs. And then you get the first ballad of the night, and that is Yuval Raphael. And then also after that, a nice contrast with Lithuania, this very eerie vibe the song has. So I think the contrast between these two is very cool as well and will help both, actually. After Lithuania, we have Spain. Spain did draw first half, so we can't really say that the EBU is trying to kill its chances or anything like that. They could have put it later in the first half, but still, great vibe shift here again from the eerie Lithuania to the very poppy, fun, summery Spain. This gives me a lot of J-Lo vibes, the whole dance routine. She puts on a great show. So great performance by Spain. And I think they're helped by the running order being between Lithuania and Ukraine. Very different songs once again. So a nice contrast there. And by the way, I think this final is really, really cool. So many genres, so many shifts in language, in genre, in a lot of different stagings. This will be a great, great night. I can't wait to watch it. Obviously. Then after Spain, we have Ukraine. Again, a vibe shift. I don't really get why they put Ukraine and the UK so close together. The very bright colors in Ukraine staging, and the UK also has a quite colorful staging because of their outfits. I don't know, maybe I would have put them a bit apart from each other, but still. After these two very colorful performances, though, we have the black and white from Austria, the very intense staging for this. I'm going to talk about in my Semi 2 review what I thought about the performance. One of the big favorites, obviously, so you might say, oh, they killed its chances by putting it so early, but we saw that Loreen also won from ninth position. Especially if you're a jury favorite, the running order doesn't make that much of a difference maybe, or isn't that important is what I'm trying to say. And Austria did draw first half, so they gave it a pretty good running order spot. And they're kind of in a block of songs that might not do as well, especially surrounded by the UK and Iceland. Austria, I think, might stand out. And if the UK sings like they did during the rehearsal, I think JJ's vocals will be even more impressive to people. And then Iceland is also not the greatest vocal performance, unfortunately. The UK should be an amazing vocal performance, but something is going on there. I don't know what. So Austria, then we have the fun from Iceland, so a good break from the drama and the yeah, very dramatic staging from Austria. I'm so happy they made it to the final. We needed this color in the final, and they got a pretty good running order spot. I didn't write down whether they drew first half, but this is a good spot for them, I think. Also followed by Latvia, another amazing vibe shift there. Latvia, I think, is helped by the lead-in from Iceland because this magical world that they invite us to is just, yeah, incredible, really, when you think about that. And then the Netherlands, let's look again at who was right before. Iceland in Icelandic, then Latvia in Latvian, and then we have the Netherlands in French and English with a sort of subdued staging. And after the fun from Iceland and this magical staging, but it is quite impactful visually, you have a more subdued staging from the Netherlands. And I think this will help them quite a bit. This is a great running order spot for them also. This was producer's choice. So in the first half, they actually have a very good spot. I think also being followed by Erika Wigman, Claude will stand out as a more standard entry, if that makes sense. But also the contrast between the Netherlands and Finland is great and helps both of them. Erika Wigman drew first half, but she got the best spot in the first half, which makes me think that the EBU thinks this will do very, very well, and the running order will help this do well. She had an amazing performance, so makes a lot of sense to put this very late in the running order. And then again, an amazing vibe shift from Erika Wigman, and especially the end is so high intensity. The intensity grows, and then you have stripped back Italy. Lovely performance also, and the contrast there will help both of them, I think, Finland and Italy. And then after Italy, again, a complete vibe shift to Poland with this over-the-top performance, but very good performance. Yeah, again, I think the producers did a really good job with this running order because you have, let's look at it again, high intensity Latvia in a way, at least when it comes to visual impact, then subdued Netherlands, then high impact Finland, subdued Italy, high impact Poland. And then we have, oh, sorry, I thought I took that out. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. Only a third of you watching this video are. So if you want more videos about Eurovision, I'm going to do a grand final prediction, the review for Semi 2, lots of stuff coming your way. So do subscribe if you haven't yet. And Eurovision Histories is also on WhatsApp. What I wanted to say is after Poland, high impact, we also have Germany kind of high impact. So there, I'm not quite sure why they did that. I think they might not have enough ballots to fill the spots in between the high intensity songs. Coming after Poland, I think Germany and Poland might not help each other all that much in this lineup, the songs from Germany and Poland, because they are both a bit high intensity, but very different vibes. Still, Poland is in Polish mostly, and Germany is in German. So, yeah, probably not that big of a deal there. But Greece is helped, I think, coming after these two high-intensity songs, Poland and Germany, being in 17th position, and this great ballad. She sang this incredibly well, crystal clear. So a great running order spot for Greece as well. By the way, Germany drew second, so they put them quite early on in the second half. Don't know what that means, honestly. But then after the great ballad from Greece, we have a very high intensity entry from Armenia. I have a feeling that this might do really, really well, because the only other song I would call a rock song, I think, yeah, the only other song that is sort of rocky is Lithuania in 5th position, and then you have Armenia in 18th position. So coming so much later than the other rock song might help this stand out. And when he performed in the semifinal, I thought this is a bit like Blind Channel from Finland, and they got a huge televote. The song is not as good, I have to say, but he performed really, really well. So I think this might do better than people are expecting. Anyway, good lead-in from Greece to Armenia. And I mean, Switzerland got a great running order. You have Poland, high intensity, Germany, high intensity, Greece. It is a ballad, but the visuals are also high intensity. Armenia is incredibly high intensity. And then you have the most stripped back song, along with Italy, probably, of the whole final, Switzerland. So this will stand out. It will be a breather for people that don't like this high intensity staging all that much. So Switzerland really, I think, might be in the running to win this, actually. They drew 19th position, obviously, because the home country has to draw the exact position in the running order. Then Malta, I think they were producer's choice, if I remember correctly. Being right after that is also a huge contrast, and Malta being on very late. I think they know that this was viral and that people will want to see it, and so they put it on later on. They also want good ratings, though then putting Estonia in third position doesn't make all that much sense, I have to say. But yeah, apparently they believe more in Malta maybe than in Estonia. And these are the last six, and especially the last four are in my top five or my top six. So this will be an amazing end to the final for me personally. So what did we have? We had Malta. I mean, crazy, over the top, everything you want, but also very good vocally. I was very impressed in the semifinal. And then you have this very stripped back Portuguese song. I think this might get a lot of jury points, actually, especially contrasting to Malta in the running order. So this is a sleeper for some people, and a lot of people were obviously surprised that this even qualified from the semifinal, but I think this might do quite well. And again, this warm visual from Portugal is contrasted with this cold visual from Denmark. It feels very Nordic, this whole staging, white and blue. There are some Northern Lights aspects to it. Sissel, I'm so happy she qualified, obviously, because no one really expected it, including myself. But she's a lovely person, and I'm very happy for her. Anyway, sorry. Talking about the running order, this is for the review video of Semi 2. So yeah, great contrast, Portugal to Denmark. Again, I think the producers did a really good job with this running order. And then from the cold colors and feel also, and this pop song from Denmark, we go to the big favorites, Kai from Sweden, who I think, again, are helped by this. Portugal, very subdued, and then the energy sort of builds towards Denmark, and then it explodes with Kai and Sweden. So this was, I didn't write it down. I think it was producer's choice, or I think they drew second. Let us know in the comments if you do know. But this is a great running order spot for Sweden. It's late in the running order. People will remember this when they pick up the phone. They would have remembered it from any running order position, really. But this will help it get a lot more attention even. And then the other big favorite, I think, actually, these two might be the biggest favorites, but I'll think about that and then do my prediction. France, after that, a good contrast again. Remember how Bara Bara Bastu ends? It's this party scene with the lasers, and then right after that you have the emotional ballad from France. The staging is quite impressive, and there's a lot going on, but the song is much more subdued. So I think I've seen a lot of comments that people don't understand why they put two favorites back to back, but the songs are so different in their vibe and their feel that I think it makes sense. And again, an amazing running order position for France. This is after the other female-led French ballad from Switzerland. Israel has a few French parts, but I think I would call it an English ballad mostly. So France profits from that. Not sure how many votes Zoe will take away from Luan, but France is in it to win it, I think, especially with this running order spot. Also sandwiched between Kai and Gabi Di Ponte, San Marino. Great, fun song. This might be San Marino's best result we've ever seen, maybe, because the song is so good. The staging is pretty good as well, pretty memorable, and it helps both France and San Marino to be so close together. So that is great. And then almost one of the greatest songs to listen to. Albania closing the final is great. I think they might get their best result ever. And it is a great end. I mean, Sweden, France, San Marino, Albania is a great end to this final, I do believe. Then who was helped most by the running order? I think the Netherlands got a pretty good running order spot. I think Finland as well, especially as they drew first half. Switzerland, even though they drew the exact running order spot, a great lead in for them by very high intensity performances. Obviously, Sweden and France really profit from this running order. I think France being later on than Switzerland helps France. And also the contrast between the two. And people will, I think, still have France in their mind, which for a ballad is very important, especially in the televote. And I also think Albania closing is very good for them. The song is amazing. I love it, but it took a few listens for me to remember the melody, even though now I can't get it out of my head. So them performing last will help televoters remember what the song was, and that might help them quite a bit. I think the country that was heard the most is probably Estonia, being on so early. That is probably going to hurt their televote chances. Let me know who you think got a good running order spot and a bad running order spot, and how you think this will impact the final result. Do subscribe if you haven't yet to the channel. Lots more stuff coming your way today, tomorrow, and then also after the final probably. So do subscribe, and I'll see you for my next video. See you then, and bye bye.